Welcome back, guys, to Kerbal Space Program, episode 100. This is it. This is the grand finale. This is where we're going to leave all the chips on the table. We return to our hero, Buzz Kerbal. Look into those eyes. Now, it may seem like he's only been here for 1 year, 153 days. If you look at the T+, in the top left corner of the screen, this is a lie. Because for the vast majority of his time here, he was in this little lander can. He's been here for 20-some years. But it's time to get him home. It's time to get him off of here. And his ride has arrived. So let me do a bracket switch. So you can see right here, the T+ on the lander can, 21 years, 360 days. 4 hours, 41 minutes. I think that's what those are. 4 hours, 41 minutes. We will forgive him if he's gone just a little bit crazy. But let's get him home. Okay. So hit the bracket. Let's walk over here. Here's the plan. His ride has arrived. Next thing to do is to land the lander in the highest elevation we can so that we can avoid as much of the thick lower atmosphere as possible. Then he's got to ride this guy to wherever it ends up being. Board. There we go. He's got to ride this guy to wherever the lander is. Get on the lander. Get into orbit. Rejoin with his comrade Hudhat. And then get the heck out of here. So Hudhat and the ship are actually passing directly overhead right now. I've transferred Hudhat over to the little tug here. And what we're going to do, we're going to undock him. We're going to turn on RCS and SAS. And we're going to back him up a little bit. Oh, what happened? Oh, we have to... Okay. We have to hit the bracket key. There we go. That's a nice view. Check this out. Get the nice silhouette. Okay, back up. We have to turn the RCS on. Back up. There we go. Okay, we're going to do that. Then we're going to switch back to the main ship. We're going to detach the lander from the interplanetary stage. It occurred to me that I could have used this interplanetary stage as a tug as well. Oh well. That would have made this flight slightly simpler. I still would have needed an extra lander can for Hudhat to stow away in and to take him back to Kerbal with us when we're ready to go. But I guess it's not that big of a deal. Now we'll do a little time accelerate to separate them. Okay, switch back to this one and slow it down a little bit. So I'm going to have him go forward. Switch back to the lander. Turn off RCS, and then we're going to basically rotate it around 180 degrees. Attach the tug, and then use the tug to push it out of orbit. Detach the tug, put him back in orbit, land the lander. Alright, well, for better or for worse, here we go. We're coming in for the landing. I'm lowering our periapsis down to 40,000 meters. We're going to let the atmosphere do the rest. Then we will undock the tug and put it back in orbit. 3995, whatever, something like that. That's pretty good. Close enough. That's about where we wanted it. So let's undock Hudhat. And he's going to skedaddle. Hit the bracket key to switch over to him. Turn on RCS and SAS. Move backwards. Okay. And then basically just flip around. And this burn should not take very long because this guy's light and spry. Okay, and just make yourself nice and even there. Throttle up. Watch how quickly this one goes. Much faster. All the way back and into orbit. Just like that. And now I'm going to bring it up to about, I don't know, 103. Should be good. The atmosphere ends at 98 or 99,000 meters. More or less 100,000 meters. So that should be good. There's the T button. Switch over to the lander. And we're going to get rid of all these structural reinforcements. We don't need them anymore. There those go. And then we're going to move all these parachutes down to a new stage at the very bottom. And we're going to trigger that fairly far into our descent. We don't really need them until the end. The atmosphere is going to do a lot to slow us down, but we will need these for the very end. I've got a different configuration from the last time I tried to land on Eve. So I've got two types of parachutes on this guy. If we rotate around, you can see some are... I'll go ahead and rotate around some more. Some are orange and some are blue. The orange ones open at an altitude of 2,500 meters, and you can change this. And they provide less resistance than these big blue ones, which open at 500 meters. So basically, the orange ones are going to fully deploy earlier to help slow us down enough that we don't have to use any of our engines when these blue ones deploy, so that our lander does not get blown apart. At least that's the plan. If you remember last time I tried to land on Eve, we had to use the engines to a fair extent to slow ourselves down when all of the parachutes deployed. This lander weighs less and has more engines, so it's got more thrust per weight ratio and it weighs less. So I think we should be okay to land on this thing. Anyway, let's find out. So far, so good. We're entering into Eve's very thick atmosphere. We have a ferocious amount of particle effects going on right now. But it seems to be controlling all right. I'm actually in 4 times acceleration mode, and it still seems okay. So I think the fact that I went with an overall smaller lander, at least for the landing phase so far, that was a good decision. Here comes the landing, and I think we're coming in a little bit too fast. So I'm actually going to engage... Oh, okay, the engines are not engaged. I'm going to engage the engines at the last second to slow us down. We have to do it right at the last second, though, to preserve fuel, and right about now. Perfect! It's a perfect 10! We've landed! We have landed on the surface of Eve at 5,000 meters above sea level, which is pretty good. I think last time we tried to take off from Eve, we were somewhere in the 500 to 1,500 meter range, and getting out of that soupy lower level of the atmosphere was really, really hard. Let's set Buzz's Salvation as our target. That is definitely our target. Let's make sure that this guy is turned off, disabled. Okay, and we want to go east, more or less. As long as we're going east, that's okay. We're too far away for... Let's turn that on as well. We're too far away. Oh, the brakes are on. We're too far away for our target to show up on screen here. So let's actually find the sun. So we can orient ourselves. It's right above our head. Actually, if we point to the 90 mark, right? That's east, right? 90? Okay, let's go. Here we go. There it is. There, before us, is Buzz's Salvation. Finally, after traversing damn near half the planet, although I guess maybe it was closer to 1/8 of the planet's diameter, we roved around. Holy cow, we are here. Okay, let's put on the brakes. Let's not flip this guy now. Although, I guess at this point, it doesn't particularly matter because we're here. Let's move the rover. I'm going to put it over here for screenshot purposes. Oh, don't hit the landing legs. I'm going to move it over here to the left so that we're in the sun where I've parked it. I'm going to put a flag down. Can't believe we're here finally. Okay, let's put the brakes on. So let me just show you where we started. We started over there. And I have come all the way over here. moving at about 23 meters per second every second. Holy cow. I watched several movies. That's why this video has been delayed for several days. We're finally here. I would have never done it this way and spent so much time on one episode if it wasn't the last one. We can get off. Leave seat. And does Buzz have the data that we took, or does the seat have it? Let me look. Let me see if we can click on the seat. What about you, Buzz? Review stored data. EVA while flying at Eve. Seismic scan from Eve's surface. Gravity scan from Eve's surface. Okay, so we need an EVA. Keep those. And more importantly, we need the soil sample. I guess we don't really need to use the ladder, do we? We could just kind of fall off. But it might be useful for getting back on. This thing does have a probe core. I'm trying to... There we go. We got close enough. Let's go down, and then actually let me switch back to the rover. Okay, let go. Let me switch back to the rover so that we turn off the SES. Oh, okay. There's a piece of debris. Turn off the SES just in case... I don't know why we would ever need to use the thing again. But just in case, it will still have charge available. It does have these little electricity generators there that will permanently generate electricity forever. So we shouldn't really have to worry about that. Let's take a surface sample. The surface appears to have a very strong purple tint to it. Or is it gray, and it just looks purple because everything else in Eve is? You start to wonder if you're not taking on a purple tint yourself. 240 science. Keep that data, Buzz. EVA report, Buzz. The surface appears to have a very strong... This is the same thing. No, keep it. I said EVA report. There. Everything is tinted purple. You feel like you're changing color. That's worth 64. Keep that too. Alright, and then spin to face the sunlight. Plant a flag, Buzz. Plant a flag. Plant flag. Blammo! Alright, and I'm gonna say for this one, Buzz was here. Zzz. Buzz was here. Zzz. Okay. Awesome. We made it all the way to the lander. Of course, this does not guarantee us in any means, by any way, shape, or form, does not guarantee that we will be able to get off of Eve. But hey, we're here. That's one thing done. So we have all the science, and Buzz has been on the surface of Eve for years. He has no desire to linger and stop and smell the roses, enjoy the scenery. He's enjoyed the scenery for 20 plus years now. He's ready to get off. Let's grab the ladder and hope this works. It worked on Kerbal, but obviously I couldn't test it on Eve without actually coming here to test it. Working so far. He wants to get off this godforsaken rocket and get back to the beautiful blue and green planet he came from. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay, and I may have to stand up to grab onto this one. Okay, let's back up. Hit space. And then grab. Perfect. Okay, so we already have the gravity scan and the acceleration scan. I suppose we can use those from orbit, but we may as well get in. There we go. All right. So, this is the moment of truth. Will we be able to get into orbit? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Throttle up. Get your center set. Landing gear up. And away we go. Some of the landing gear is broken. That's okay. And I think I will start my gravity turn right about now at around 35,000 meters. We're going 400 and close to 500 meters per second. My benchmark for being on Kerbal, well, it's different per rocket, but it's normally around 10,000 meters, 250 meters per second. There's the second to last stage, so we only have one more tank. We have a apoapsis of 60,000 meters in 40 seconds. Hopefully, we can make it. This is our only chance. Buzz, this is your only hope. We're like Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're your only hope. Oh yes, look at this view. This is kind of good. How about this one? How about this one? This one. Yes. Okay. So let's see. Let's get an update. 85,000 meters. Oh, so let's start turning over more. We need more orbital momentum here. Okay, let's point straight at the horizon. And change that. The apoapsis is going to continue to climb. Atmosphere ends at around 98,000 meters, something like that. I'm going to go up to maybe 102, something like that, just to be safe. Let's see, our apoapsis hopefully should be at least staying even if it's not getting farther away. Oh, we're about to change. I think we're just going to keep burning. We've got one more. We got to burn. Okay. And then I'm going to use the RCS as well. Going to use every last drop we can possibly use. Now, one thing we can't do is we can't jump out of the pod and use Buzz's EVA. His EVA fuel pack, his little jetpack, we can't use that. That's not going to work. Let me do something like this. That's not going to work because we need this pod to land on Kerbal. This part of the rocket ship. Let's see what we can do. We have a... Well, it's getting circularized. We don't have that much fuel left over, though. I'm going to stay pointed towards the horizon. Our apoapsis is about 105,000 meters, which means I guess we could have turned over towards the horizon a little bit earlier. Ooh, now we're getting farther away. Oh, and it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. Well, we've got 67 monopropellant left. We're going to be at our apoapsis in 39 seconds. And I don't think that is accelerating us fast enough to do it. Buzz, are you a test pilot or are you a test pilot? Buzz Kerman is a test pilot. Take data. And go. This is the point where we should see or hear some rock music, I think. Oh my gosh, no, keep pointed this way. We want to make sure the game keeps calculating our direction properly. Oh, it's expanding. And we can keep track of our overall apoapsis there. I think this may be possible, actually. Which means we're going to have to bring another command pod to rescue him. But I think that's probably not as big a deal as having him crash into the surface. We've got plenty of EVA monopropellant. Look at this. We're about to have a periapsis. As long as we keep this over 100,000 meters, I can start to hit shift to raise it if I need to. Whoa. Here we go. Whoa, crap, what happened here? Go this way. The camera shifted. If I hadn't have shifted back just then, we might have been screwed. Okay, our periapsis is rising. We have to get it up to 100. What's going on? We spun around again for some reason. Here it goes. If it stops increasing, I'll know that we spun around again for some reason. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Let's check. Oh, we did it. We're in orbit. We got off of Eve. Buzz Kerbal, you are a man among midgets. Review stored data. It's all there. Now we just have to pick him up. Should be no problem, right? No problem. There he is. Buzz Kerbal, stranded in orbit. No longer stuck to the surface. And who has come to get him? Who's come to pick him up? Why, it's none other than Hudhat. Alright, so let's go over to the Buzz Tug. The Buzz Tug. We've left Buzz's salvation behind. And Hudhat's return is waiting for us. The interplanetary stage. I think that's what I named it. And this lander can on this thing has room for one. So I want to try something. I don't know if it's going to work. I've never tried it. So we're going to experiment just a little bit. We're going to stick him on this ladder. Buzz. Oh, you're not even close to it. Buzz, get on the ladder. Okay, Buzz is on the ladder. Now, I'm going to quick save. Can I quick save while... Oh. While Kerbals are on a ladder. If I rotate, you're going to stay there? You are. Huh. Okay. Fine. Whoa, what is going on with this? This is freaky. Let's set the interplanetary stage as our target. Set as target. We are on an interior orbit, and it is behind us right here. So we actually need to expand our orbit so that it can swing by us. So I wonder what's going to happen if I fire my engines while Buzz is on the ladder. I don't know. I've never tried this before. I'm going to try it now. We'll start gently. Did he let go? He's still there. It looks like he shifted forward, like he tried to climb up. But he's still there. Okay, where's our apoapsis? 160. Oh, stop. That's way too... That's far. That's high enough. Good. Alright, so are you still attached? It looks that way. Okay, fast forward. And let's see if we can rendezvous with the interplanetary stage with Buzz stuck to the ladder. Poor little Buzz, set adrift once again. Turns out you can't pause or save the game while on a ladder, nor can you go into time acceleration. So the whole stick him on the ladder trick wasn't gonna work. And so he's floating around in orbit. But don't worry about it. We have a solution. Also, Buzz's salvation has arrived and has docked with the Buzz Tug. So basically, I went into the vehicle assembly building, and I took out the interplanetary stage save file, and I stuck another little lander on top of it with decouplers and, ooh, gosh, slow down. You're coming in a little hot there. I put a new lander on top. So we now have a place for him to stay, since he decided to ditch his original lander to get into orbit. Hudhat and Buzz are on board. We have a full tank of gas. Let's rock. Full throttle. Okay, no, never mind. Not quite full throttle because we don't want the engines to overheat, but just shy of full throttle. We have a burn of about 4 minutes, and then we'll have a few minor adjustments to make along the way. And in no time, we should be back in Kerbal's atmosphere, safe and sound. I hope, if nothing goes wrong. Well, here we are, back in the atmosphere of Kerbal. We're doing an aero brake. We've been caught into an orbit, and I think we're going to go ahead and disconnect the first one. And the second one will get disconnected and landed the second time around. We've learned not to try to land 2 different capsules at once because one of them might unload. We killed Hudhat previously like that. Let's just go ahead and burn. Do we have any fuel in our tank? A little bit. Oh, hang on. I actually deactivated all of these. so that I could fire the main engines of the interplanetary rocket without these guys going off. This will probably be enough to bring us out of orbit. There we go. Awesome. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll use our RCS as well. HUD hat safely down. And here we come. Buzz Kerman coming back into Kerbin's atmosphere after well over 20 years on another planet. Okay, let's go out of the time warp. Let's do some... Tell you what, let's do this. I'm going to leave the engines throttled up and then undock so that that can crash into the ground in brilliant fashion. We can actually do the same with this. Let's throttle this all the way up. Or throttle all the way up and then stage. We'll point it down, I guess. There it goes. It's shooting off for the ground or somewhere. And we just have to spin this around enough. Oh, this may be bad. Okay, let go, please. There we go. There we go. There they go. And there we are. Buzz Kerman is finally home after more than 20 years on another planet. He's back on home sweet home, Kerbin. Let's recover the vessel. Okay, so look at this. We brought back an additional 678 science. Wasn't really after the science. I was more concerned with getting Buzz home. And I just completed what I consider to be probably the hardest thing to do in the game, which is to bring back a soil sample from Eve, or in other words, land on Eve, take off, and come back. In any way you can manage. I now have an extra 5,286 science in case they add anything else in future updates that requires an expenditure on the tech tree. This is episode 100 of this series, and it is probably the last episode, if not forever, then for at least a little while. What I plan to do in the future, the near future, I'm going to be looking at some different Kerbal Space Program mods. Probably starting with Infernal Robotics, and then moving on to some others. And eventually in the future, I will start a modded Kerbal Space Program series. It won't be this series. This series is done for now. It'll be a new series. I'm not done with the game, but I'm done with this series, at least for now. And so we say goodbye to HUD Hat, and to Buzz, and to Kerbal Space Explosion.